first thing I like to do is put a grid on top of my container. If I'm not using, sometimes I use chicken wire. I use foam occasionally, not so much. But if I'm using a short container like this, you'll see as we get into designing, a lot of times the greenery wants to just slip out. So I just tape a little grid. Your grid can be as big or as small as you want it to be. I'm just doing 3 across each way. And then you're gonna take the tape and wrap it around the rim of your container just to hold the grid in place. So we're gonna do that. And then once we get all of our greenery in here and your flowers, you're not gonna be able to even tell it's there. So that's nice. And it'll be a nice sturdy surface for you to design on. Okay, so that should do it. I think that takes me right around to where we started. All right, so let's put some greenery in here. The first greenery I'm gonna use is called pennycress. And I like it because it's kind of wild looking. It's not so neat and tidy. I like my bouquets to just have a free flow aesthetic to them. So I like to use pennycress a lot. The next greenery we're gonna use, I'm gonna butcher the name because I always do, but I think it's called Buplurium, I don't know. But I love it because it is, again, it just looks like you went out to the yard and picked some wildflowers. So I always like to use that. So that is this little, see how it's just wild and free flowing? It fits my vibe. I'm gonna stick that in there. We're gonna cut it down. And I am using a Lazy Susan to design in, just because I tend to make my arrangements in the round. You know, if you don't need them to be in the round, I wouldn't waste the flowers or the greenery to do it. But, oh, that is a DoorDash order. So give me just a second. Okay, so I'm back doing this, and sorry about that, but DoorDash was going off and I'm here by myself right now. So we'll just finish this up and then I'll take care of that. And then the last thing I'm using today is Queen Anne's lace. I must say, I'm not a fan. I know that some people are sucking air right now as I say that. It's just like when I say I don't like baby's breath. I don't. This sheds considerably, and I just, you know, hate that part of it. I like something in its place called Orlea. I don't have any in the shop right now, but I love it much better. It's so pretty. Baby's breath, there's too much waste with baby's breath. It drives me crazy. So I'm not a fan of baby's breath. So now we're gonna add some hydrangeas, and I'm dipping them in a product called Quick Dip. And Quick Dip just basically helps to hydrate hydrangeas. They're heavy drinkers, and they like a lot of hydration. They drink from their blooms, and so I always soak them when I'm conditioning them for the shop. I always soak them for a couple of hours, head side down in the water. And then when we put them in the cooler, we use Quick Dip to help condition them, so they give you the longest possible life. So if you don't have Quick Dip, and you probably won't, you can use something called alum. It's used in pickling, canning things, and it's a powder. It's a white powder. I have some over here. Just a white powder. You just dip your stem in it, and then you can put it in your water. So works just as well. So we're gonna finish cutting the rest of these. Stick these in our arrangement. see already I want to move some of this greenery because I don't want it just lining the rim of the dish. I want it to look like it's, you know, through the flowers. So I'll switch things around just like I'm doing now. I like it to be very whimsical looking. So, and then I have these beautiful spray roses, these pale yellow spray roses, and they're garden roses. And I don't get these in very often. They're kind of hard to come by unless you special order them for an event or something, but whew, these are beautiful. And I'm just gonna stick these in quick dip too. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's just gonna help them last longer. And we'll go over here. I'm gonna take off the lower blooms. Look at that bloom, how pretty. Just a little heavy. And don't worry, I'm not gonna throw those out. We can use those in the shop in one of our bud vases or displays. All right, I'm gonna stick that in here. And then I have some pretty Pink Floyd roses. These are a nice hot pink color. And we're gonna give these a little twirly twirl to open those up. Stick those down in here. I have 3 of those I'm going to use. A little too tall. Bring it out again. Quick dip. Back in. And I'm picking off, I call them bumper petals. They're the outside petals of the rose. Sometimes they just look a little crummy, to be honest with you. And so we just pluck those off and then we get a nice, beautiful rose. So there we go. Ooh, a little thorny, I think that needs to be a little shorter. Again, and with our quick dip. There. Ooh. I think I had those in my vase. And then I have some asters that were locally grown, and so we're going to use those. It's a really pretty shade of lavender. Let's see. Come over here. Get 4 of these. And I just went to the cooler and pulled flowers. It's just whatever struck me at the time. So no rhyme or reason, honestly. This. And I'm going right through the hydrangeas to place my flowers. I like some flowers high, some flowers low. I don't like them to all be one level. And then I have some little lavender buttons. I'm going to use some of these. And these, you get a lot of bang for your buck with these. First of all, they last forever. And I love tucking them down in arrangements just because it's a little unexpected. And one thing I like when I do flowers, I want people to stop and take a look and see, you know, there's not one flower typically, there's not even 2 flowers, there's typically 5, 6, 7 different types of flowers, and they may not be what you expected, but they're gonna be fun and pretty. And so I just wanna make people stop and look. And these little buttons are great because you get a ton to a stem. So, like I said, lots of bang for your buck. I'm gonna take off this stem. Oop, okay, the whole thing came out. That's the rescue run. Put this down in there. We're gonna put some more over here on this side. Got another. And these little ones that I'm pulling off, again, we'll just use those in the shop in our bud vases, and we put them in our bathroom or wherever we want a little flower. Should be using my snips for this and not doing what I just did. Again, going through the hydrangea, kind of using it as a grid. And I gotta tuck in some of this greenery back in here. It's not playing nicely. So we're gonna get this. I'm trying to see what's happening in here. Okay, there we go. This. All right, so there you have it. A beautiful arrangement with just flowers we had in the cooler. So Varen will go through the cooler and then you'll be able to see exactly what you can do with some of the flowers. You can't really go wrong. You'll make something pretty, I promise. Or you can let us make something pretty for you. Either way, we'll hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.